And this is where we have to exercise what? Wisdom. And also understanding that even if we can have more than one wife, it is not expedient. Let's read that precept in 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. Because you can have multiple doesn't mean you should have multiple unless you have the resources to do so, and then you made a decision that you want to, then no problem. Or else your time will be taken up instantly, because you have to be able to deal with all of them, provide for all of them, please all of them, in order to allow this to work. As scripture says, when you go back into Exodus 21 and verses 11, what it says, and if he do not these three, which is your food, your raiment, your duty of marriage, which we know what it goes into, intercourse, sex, all right, sex and protecting and all these things, then guess what? If he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. See that? She will be free from out of his hands. That's just what it is. But then you can also cause her to commit adultery by that same act, which is why it is important to keep that proper balance and ensure that if you know you can handle this, you can do this, if you know it can be done, you can get it done, then your purpose, and if you know that, hey, this is what you want, and you know it won't be a burden onto you, I won't take away from this truth, no problem. But if it's not that case, then don't do it. Let me go back into the precept again. 10 verse 23, it says what? It says, all things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. That's the point. How is that going to help you in this wicked society? I myself also have to ask that question. How is that going to help in this slave society? We are still under captivity. Yet this day in a very, very captivity, we're still paying bills, we're still paying taxes, we still have to answer to somebody, we still have to go to our enemies for food, for tainted, corrupted food. Sometimes not even actual food, but yeah, it's food. We still have subject to payments, as we know. So it's going to be much more tougher or harder for us to bear, to having all these wives and still trying to be able to serve Yahweh Shemir Shai, sincerity and truth, have time for him, and still have a little time for ourselves, and have time for all of them. That would be hard. It would be very, very hard. So now we could continue on the aspect, because to ensure that you know that sex is marriage, we have to go into that part, because the purpose is the lesson is the purpose of polygyny. And as we identify that sex is marriage, which we'll go back into, but I go into Deuteronomy 21 and verses, like go into the letter Bible to be exact. Deuteronomy 21, so you could go into some definitions if you need to. And verses 10. Let's read from verses 10, and it says, domestic relations, right? It says, when thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and Yahweh thy power hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife. Right? Then here it says, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, and she shall put the raiment of the captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month, and after that thou shalt go in unto her. Let's make sure we get that properly. Thou shalt go in unto her. Same thing. Go in unto her, lay hold of her, to take her, took her. All these things. Seize her. These aspect, or let's say not aspect, are talks of intercourse. Are conversations of intercourse. Let's get this one also. Go in onto her in the interlinear. To enter, to come in. What does it mean to enter? Let's go. Abide, apply, attain, to befall, besiege, bring. Forth, into, to pass, carry, call. As I go on, I'm looking for the right word, if it is there. If it's not, it is what it is. To be fallen, to fetch, to follow, no. Mention, to pull in. That's a must. Send, surely, take in. To take, right there, take or take in. That's what it goes into. So when you see take or took, that's what it's coming into, because what he do? Read it again. After the month, and after that, thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. Right there. Right there. And verse 14. And it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, thou shalt let her go whither she will, but thou shalt not sell her at all for money. Thou shalt not make her make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her. How did he humbled her? By what? Going in unto her. That's what the talk or the conversations of sex. Going into an individual is popping her cherry, or guess what? Going inside of her, which we know is intercourse, which again properly well details that sex is marriage, because the consecration, or let us say token of virginity, to prove that let me get a precept. I don't know what showing here before I want to get next week before I go into it. But right here identifies what? The consecration of marriage, which is through sex. If the man, just roughly paraphrasing, the definition is here, if the man goes on to a damsel, right, during after the ceremony, during the time of the marriage chamber, right, and he pops her cherry, and there's blood on the token token, which is the cloth. You've got this on the blood identifying that she was pure and she's no longer pure, then that consecrates the marriage, making her his wife. It shows that even according to the law. But let's get the precept in Genesis chapter 24 again, and 67 again. Let's read. It says, and the servant, 66, and it says that the servant told Isaac all things that he had done, and Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah. And she became his wife. Same thing we mentioned with definition of going on to, you see take, you see took, you see carry, you see there's many more definitions, but you see it here again, and took Rebekah. Let's go back into it again, which goes into lay hold of, or to seize, or we know what that go into even further. All right, It says, took again, or mingle to be exact, which is mentioned very clearly. Let's see. Let me go from the top. To take, to fetch, to lay hold of, seize. See? Receive, acquire, buy, bring. Here's the point. Marry or take a wife. Snatch, take away, which is also the definition in going on to take away. We saw that, didn't we? All right. So going down even further into definitions, you have mingle being right there. I had to mention and clarify that. Well, identify it. Mingle, we have seize, yet again. Going into, you have to take, again, to take or took, right? Take, to take in the widest widest variety of application, accept, to bring, to buy, to carry away. It says drawn, fetch, get, enfold, many, mingle, one more time, mingle, place, receiving, reserve, seize, stand for, take away, or take awaying, or taken away. Right, taken up, taken away, or use, or win over. So these terms mentioned was referring to what? Isaac going in on to Rebekah and she becoming his wife, because it also applies and deals with the Torah, the law. The law is set in place to ensure that there was no how to put it, I want to say the right word. It was put in place to ensure that there was not no there was no adultery taking place. Because if a woman is betrothed to a man and the time comes where they have to meet and be together, the aim is to ensure that there's no foolishness or unfairness or adultery in the midst. Because if he going on to her and like say if he going on to her and there wasn't set up a token of virginity to prove, so that the elders or the people, the chiefs or the elders among them could know, hey, this is the situation or this is not the situation, then it would have many people here out in this world like they have back and here how they have today, they would have back then, lying, claiming they are virgins, and fooling men. So everything was set up in place to prevent that from taking place, as we know, right? So let's go into the aspects dealing with continuing on the aspects of the purpose of polygyny, because it's a very crucial and important part, especially in the kingdom of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakodash. And let's get a precept to start off, which is Isaiah. Actually, let's go from Ezekiel first. We go Isaiah after. Let's go Ezekiel first. Ezekiel 36, just to be exact, and verses 9 to about 12. Straight to the point. It says, "For behold, I am for you, and I will turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown." Here it says, "And I will multiply men upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it, and the inhabitants and the cities, and the cities shall be inhabited, and the wastes shall be builded, and I will multiply upon you man and beasts, and they shall increase and bring forth fruit, and I will settle you after your old estate, and will do better unto you than at your beginnings, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh." Let's continue. "And yea, I will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall possess thee, and thou shalt be their inheritance, and thou shalt no more henceforth bereave them of men." So what is the promise according to, which is promise according to the scriptures, we're going to have a what? An increase. How is that going to happen? How that increase is going to be made according to the scriptures? Let go further. It says what? When it jumped, I just want to jump down to verse 36. Verse 37 to be exact. Verse 37 to be exact. Let's take it straight to the point. It says, "For thus saith Yahweh power, I will yet for this be inquired of by the house of Israel, to do it for them. I will increase them with men like a flock." Keep going. "As the holy flock, as the flock of Jerusalem in her solemn feasts, so shall the waste cities be filled with flocks of men, and they shall know that I am Yahweh." So he's going to increase who? Israel, the children of Israel in that time to come. And how is he going to do so? With one woman to one man. The purpose of being fruitful and multiplying is to what? To continue the generations, bring forth your offsprings, and so that we could continue to rule over these other nations. So if we are going to be multiplying exponentially quickly, it would only be it would mainly be using the process of polygyny. That's all I'm saying. One man having multiple wives. Example, the elect being the government body and having multiple wives, so that they could bring forth that righteous seed. You understand now? Hence why the kingdom is going to be full with Israel in their rightful state. Because when the elect is gathered and changed and begin to do what? Procreate back on the earth, the other jakes, the 2/3 are going to be coming out of the loins of the elect. So when they come out of the loins of the elect in a changed state, they are going to be changed coming also. This is the purpose of polygyny. To bring forth back a nation in such a short time would not take one woman to one man. It's going to take multiple women to one man, which is also why I was demonstrated the time when with Jacob. You think it was only because of a purpose? It was designed so. So when it was seen fit that Rachel couldn't have, give it to one time. Then it came to pass. And it so happened that Jacob had more than multiple wives, with multiple seeds being brought forth unto him, which was not condemned. In fact, it was entertained. He and his offspring received a blessing of Yahweh Shemyoshai, and he will continue to multiply their seed, that they become a multitude of nations. So, on to cut off now. I'm trying to keep it short. So, on to next part.